When you think about big, world-changing inventions, where does your mind go? Probably some high-tech lab, right? Or maybe a huge corporate R&D department? Well, what if I told you some of the most iconic, everyday things we use came from a place you'd probably never guess? That's what we're diving in today, the absolutely incredible spark of young innovators. So let me start by asking you a question. What in the world do popsicles and swim flippers have in common? I mean, seriously. One's a frozen treat for a hot day, the other's for, well, swimming faster. They couldn't seem more different, right? But believe it or not, they share this one totally remarkable origin story. Get this, they were both invented by 11-year-olds. Yeah, you heard that right. Kids, not even teenagers yet. It's just a perfect, mind-blowing example of the surprising, and let's be honest, often overlooked, power of young minds. Okay, so to really understand what's going on here, let's jump in a time machine for a second. Because it turns out this isn't some new 21st century thing. Not at all. Young people have been solving problems and inventing things for, well, centuries. So way back in 1717, you've got an 11-year-old Ben Franklin. Yep, that Ben Franklin. He loved to swim and wanted to go faster, so boom, he invents swim flippers. Fast forward to 1873. A 15-year-old named Chester Greenwood is ice skating, and his ears are freezing. What does he do? He invents ear muffs. Then in 1905, another 11-year-old, Frank Epperson, accidentally leaves his soda out overnight with a stir stick in it, and bam, the popsicle is born. And then there's Louis Braille, who by the time he was just 15, had perfected the reading system that completely changed the world for blind people. The pattern here is just, wow. They didn't ask for permission. They didn't have a PhD. They just saw a problem in their own lives and went, I can fix that. Okay, so let's hit the fast forward button and come back to our time. Because today, young inventors are taking it to a whole new level. They're not just solving everyday problems anymore. No, they're tackling some of the biggest, gnarliest challenges on the planet. And they're doing it with technology and access to information that inventors of the past could only dream of. Just think about the Flint water crisis. I mean, what a devastating public health disaster. You had experts and officials totally stumped by this massive, complex problem. But you know who it also caught the attention of? A 10-year-old girl named Gitanjali Rao. And her motivation is just so telling. She didn't look at it and see this giant, unsolvable mess. She saw a very specific problem. How do we know if there's lead in the water? While all the adults were tangled up in politics and policy, she was thinking like an engineer. She was just asking, how can a person find out right now if their water is safe to drink? So what'd she do? She invented Tethys. It's this incredible little device that uses something called carbon nanotubes to detect lead. And get this, she learned about them just by reading the MIT website. But here's the real game changer. It sends the results straight to your phone over Bluetooth. In an instant, she made an invisible danger visible. It was a fast, cheap, and easy-to-use solution for a problem that was anything but. And she was just getting started. Seriously. Gitanjali then went on to create a tool for early diagnosis of opioid addiction, then an AI-powered app that spots cyberbullying. Oh, and she also wrote a book, to guide other young inventors. It's like she wasn't just solving one problem at a time. She was building a whole system for innovation. And Gitanjali is not some one-off case. Just look at this lineup. Michaela Ulmer, at 4 years old, starts a lemonade business to save the bees. Alina Morse, age 7, invents candy that's good for your teeth. Can you even imagine? And Gabby Goodwin, also 7, finally solves that classic problem of hair bows that just won't stay in. The range is just amazing, right? From huge global issues to those little everyday things that drive us crazy. So, this all begs the question, right? What is going on inside their heads? What's the common thread that connects a future president, a candy maker, and a water-testing genius? Let's try and decode this innovator's mindset. When you look at all of them, a few key traits really jump out. First, there's passion. They're not just building a business, they're working on something they truly love. Then, creativity. They look at an ordinary problem and just see it differently. Of course, there's tenacity, that grit to keep going when things get hard. But maybe the biggest one is imagination. They're not bogged down by the status quo, They don't care about how we've always done it. They just see a problem and think, there has to be a better way. Okay, so those are great traits to have, for sure. But is that all it is? Just a lucky combination of personality traits? Or is there something more? A system behind the genius? Kind of like an operating system for the innovator's brain? Well, the answer is a big, fat yes. There is a system, and researchers actually have a name for it: computational thinking. Now, that might sound a little intimidating, but at its heart, it's a really powerful framework for solving pretty much any problem. So, what exactly is it? Think of it like this: it's the process of taking a huge, messy, complicated problem and breaking it down into smaller, bite sized pieces you can actually solve. It's about looking for patterns, figuring out a step by step plan, and kind of building a mental model of how things work. And the key thing here is it's not just for computer programmers, it's a way of thinking that works for everything. And honestly, this is the most exciting part of this whole thing. This way of thinking, it's not some magic gift you're born with. Nope, it is a skill. And like any skill, it can be taught and it can be learned, starting from when kids are super, super young. And it starts with really simple hands-on stuff. Like, look at this little guy. It's called a B-bot. A kid isn't typing lines of code. They're just pushing buttons. Go forward, turn left, go back. But to get that little bee from point A to point B on a map, they have to plan out the whole sequence in their head first. That's it. That's computational thinking. It's basic logic and sequencing, completely disguised as a fun game. And then they level up. They can move on to block-based coding. You've got things like the Kibo robots, where kids literally build a program with physical wooden blocks that the robot then scans and follows. Or on a screen, they can use an app like Scratch Junior to drag and drop commands to make characters move and tell stories. What they're doing is learning the core concepts of programming: logic, loops, sequences, without ever having to worry about syntax or typing a single line of code. Okay, so we've looked at the history, we've seen these amazing modern-day kids, and we've even peeked inside their problem-solving brains. So what does this all mean for the rest of us? For you and me, no matter how old we are. It really comes down to a simple four-step playbook. Step 1, find a problem you actually care about. That's your fuel, your passion. Step 2, break it down. Use that computational thinking to turn a mountain into a bunch of small, climbable hills. Step 3, attack it with creative confidence, that fearless, why not attitude that kids have. And finally, number 4, just embrace the process. It's okay to mess up. Failure isn't the end, it's just part of learning. Because here's the most important takeaway of all. This mindset is not just for kids. And it's not just for inventing the next popsicle. It's a powerful framework for tackling any challenge you face, at work, in your neighborhood, in your own life. So I'll just leave you with this thought. What problem, big or small, are you going to solve next?